Do you, as an autistic adult, struggle with friendships? According to research, individuals with autism spectrum disorder report having fewer friends, lower quality friendships, and struggle to maintain reciprocal friendships compared to neurotypical individuals. In this video, I'm going to break down 9 reasons why we struggle with friendships. So let's get started. Hey, Define Yourselfers. I am Chris Mitchell from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to choose to watch my video. I'm very honored that you did that. I'm an autistic adult, late diagnosed, a multi-certified life coach, a digital creator, and an advocate for autistic adults, empowering other autistic adults and the world to embrace autism confidently. Now, if this resonates with you, please consider supporting our channel. You can show your support by liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. But the best way, the ultimate best way to show your support is by subscribing to this channel. When you do subscribe, do not forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live. There's an old saying, there is no better ship than friendship. Unfortunately, for those of us on the spectrum, our autism can and often sinks the friendship, leaving us with a feeling of drowning alone in an ocean full of autistics successfully navigating their own friendships. Some of the surface reasons we autistic adults struggle with friendships include our difficulty interpreting social cues, navigating complex social situations, experiencing high anxiety in social settings, challenges with communication, and a tendency to overthink interactions. All of the above can make it difficult to initiate and maintain friendships and relationships with others for those of us on the spectrum. Now, let's dive deep into 11 reasons we struggle with friendships. Autistic adults often struggle with social communication challenges. Our social communication challenges are caused by our difficulty understanding nonverbal cues, including body language and facial expression and tone of voice. These challenges often lead to our misinterpreting of social interactions. Our tendency to interpret things literally can also be a cause of our struggles with friendships. When we take things that are said literally, we increase our chances of misunderstanding casual conversations with subtle meanings or with humor. Our sensory sensitivities may also be a contributing factor in our challenges in friendships. Often, overwhelming sensory experiences in social situations can, among other things, make it difficult to focus on conversations. Now, a little side note here is this. It, we know, or we should know, what our sensory triggers are. For me, it's noisy environments. And one of the reasons I struggle with friendships in my life is friends, at least this is my perception of friendships, like to gather at like maybe a bar or a sporting event with a lot of noise, a lot of traffic, maybe loud music and all. And first of all, I don't drink. Okay. And that's a personal choice. No judgment here if you drink. That's fine. Be responsible, please. And if you have an addiction with it, get help for it. But I don't drink. But the big thing is all that noise. And because this is where people would hang out and connect, at least back in my day, I know I'm old, I'm middle aged, I can accept it, I can admit that. But because of that, I would shy away from interacting with people. Or if I did make a friend and they said, "Well, let's go to a restaurant tonight, a popular restaurant, whatever," I would come up with an excuse not to, because of the fact that I knew my sensory trigger was noise would overwhelm me. I become a little bit withdrawn, or I get frustrated and I will say things that are detrimental to a friendship. And at the very least, I go home or I feel exhausted when I get home, if not earlier in the evening. So it's not just the sensory sensitivities that can cause us trouble um, or difficulty to focus on conversations. Our sensory sensitivities can also make it a challenge just to be in an environment with our friends that it's going to be a trigger for us. And because we often feel self-conscious about our autism and our triggers, we try to mask them. And that's where we get into trouble because we need to, if we're going to really have a friendship and have a good friendship, we need to be able to tell our friends anything. And that's a sign of a good, strong friendship is to do that and be able to tell your friends, I love to go to that restaurant, but I get overwhelmed by noise. It fatigues me. I have trouble concentrating in the friendship or in the conversations. And if they're a really good friend, they will understand. And yeah, I know that's a risk. Maybe you'll lose a friend that you really wanted to have in your life. But most important thing is you got to take care of you and your needs. And a real friend, a true friend, will accept that and understand that and be compassionate of that. And when you're doing that, you also need to be making sure that you are respectful of their needs as well. It's a two-way street, friendships are, and we need to remember that. Social anxiety can be devastating for our friendships. Often, our social anxiety stems from past negative experiences or from our own uncertainty about how to interact appropriately in a friendship. Our past does affect our present and will help us determine our future if we allow negative things from the past to continue to haunt us. It's going to make our future less enjoyable for ourselves. It's something I firmly believe in. And in this case, when we've had bad experiences, uh, negative bad experiences from previous friendships or relationships, that can cause us to have social anxiety in our present or our future endeavors to foster or nurture a friendship. Small talk, which appears to be a key component for both starting a friendship and a frequent part of a friendship, is often a stumbling block for many of us on the spectrum. Now, when it comes to friendships, the reason that something so small, such as small talk, can be a big hurdle for us to overcome comes from our struggles to engage comfortably and confidently in casual conversation and finding topics to discuss while initiating or engaging in small talk. I am probably the last person to talk about small talk. I don't get it. I don't do it well. I don't like it. I think it's pointless. And it would not surprise me if others on the spectrum feel similar that I do. I just don't see the point in it. I seen a video from an autistic influencer explaining one of the things that autistics like to do in small talk is to say, "Hey, today's Friday," if it is Friday, and and, and that could be a beginning of a small talk. And to me, it's like, why am I pointing out something they already know? Because that makes me look stupid. Like, did you know today's Friday? It's like, or I'm insulting their intelligence. So I don't see the point in it. It is very difficult and challenging for me. I I find it to be pointless. I find it to be a waste of time. I'm the type of person who just likes to get right into the conversation. Let's get her done. Let's move on. Our desire to participate in routines, often routines of our own creation, and our desire for predictability can stand between us and a friendship because friendships often require us to adapt quickly to spontaneous social plans. This is a big thing. I'm not good. I like my routines and all. And then you introduce somebody else into your life who does not understand your routine or the importance of your routine, or unintentionally, because I don't think people do it intentionally, want to interrupt your routine. That's when things get kind of bumpy and it gets kind of challenging. And then of course the predictability that we crave, many of us crave on the spectrum. Friendships are very unpredictable. Okay, this is one of the reasons they drive me batty. Okay, because I have a friend who for the past few years, have texted me Happy Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving. This year he didn't. And now I expected that. That was predictable to me. He didn't do that. Now I'm going through a panic mode, wondering what has changed in our friendship. Did I do something wrong? Is it evolving? How do I what do I do if it's evolving? How do I react to it? How is it evolving? All these things go through my mind. This is why the predictability thing, when we don't get what we are expecting to have happen in a relationship or a friendship, it throws us and makes it harder. And then it could throw us off, and we could have a shutdown or a meltdown or whatever, which is very detrimental at times in friendships, especially if the person we're interacting with does not understand that we're on the spectrum and all, and we need a little bit more understanding and tolerance and maybe explanation of what's going on in the relationship. Because of our challenges, reciprocity, that's a tough word, it may be difficult for us to understand the give and take dynamic in friendships, potentially leading to imbalances in the relationships. Because we don't get the idea of the give and take at times. I mean, maybe in theory we do, but in practice, we don't get it. We may not see the other person is giving to us, and we may feel we're giving too much to them and they're not giving the same amount back, or we're not giving anything to them and we don't realize it. I mean, that's not a great thing, but it's not a horrible thing to kick ourselves for. It's just part of our autism. We're just not aware of how that scale balances. Are we giving enough in the friendship? Are we taking too much? Are they taking too much? Etc. And if they're taking too much and we don't realize that, that's when we get taken advantage of, and that's an unhealthy friendship. Autism can also cause us to misinterpret social norms. When we often misinterpret social norms, we often misunderstand unspoken social rules, which often lead to awkward or inappropriate behavior. Possibly the biggest challenge or obstacle that stands between us autistic adults and a friendship is the fear of rejection. We kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier, but I want to come back to this because this is a legitimate fear for many of us on the spectrum. Because of past negative experiences or being bullied or excluded in the past often causes autistic individuals like you and me to feel hesitant to put ourselves out there to make new friends. When it comes to myself and friendships, I'm going to say I have a very checkered past in this. Yes, I had friends, but they most of the time the best friendships for me have been what I call surface friendships. And a surface friendship to me is someone that is kind of, hey, how are you doing? It's nice to see you. Yeah, why don't we do something together? But we really don't share deep emotional connection or deep emotional experiences. We don't talk about the things that are troubling us, what makes us happy. We keep it very lighthearted, friendly, where I don't have to, and it's on me, I'll admit this. It's on me. I don't want to share a lot of my deep emotional feelings at times because I don't know how people are going to react. And then I don't know how to do that dialogue. I don't know the scripting I need to do. And so it's very challenging. So I do better with surface friendships. I don't go deep in friendships. I know I should. I wish I could, but I don't. And that's just something on me. So I have about right now in my life probably maybe less than a half a dozen friends. I mean, I got a lot of friends, quote unquote, on Facebook and all, and that's kind of cool. We say, oh wow, look what we're doing. Oh, that's super. Oh wow, happy, those little things that you do there. But I don't have friends that I hang out with, and all. Very very few. I mean, the people who I do hang out with are my wife, one other person here in the community I live, and when I go back to home in St. Louis, I will hang out with one of my childhood friends that I'm so friends with today. And that's about it. I don't go out and try to look for friendships. That's so complicated to me. I don't understand that process. And also, that's just me. I mean, I've made some connections online. I've chatted with some people, both not just an official Zoom meeting and all, in other activities, this little friendly banter back and forth, but I don't feel that connection that I think friendships have. I don't know if that's something you as an autistic adult can relate to, but that's what my experience is with friendships. They're very complicated to me. Like I mentioned in this video, it's recommended that small talk is a great way to start a friendship. I don't see the point in it. I don't do small talk. And when somebody does small talk with me, I'm looking for a way to get out of the conversation because I don't see a point in it. And I'm not sure what they're expecting me to react to something. Like I mentioned in this video, a great small talk topic is saying, hey, today's Friday. How am I supposed to respond to that? Like, duh. No kidding. Thanks for the news bulletin. Any other insights you want to share with me that are earth-shattering? I don't know what to say because those are the thoughts that go through my mind, and I know those are inappropriate, but I don't know how to react. So I'm very anxious at small talk, and because of that, that probably is why I struggle with making and developing friendships. And then, of course, not having a script for how to react, being fearful of or not knowing how they expect me to respond. All of those things really drive me batty. So for me, what I've realized in my life is I am most comfortable with surface friendships. I wish I could have deeper friendships. I would love to, and there's a part of me that would love to entertain and have people at my house, which I really don't like doing. And I think that's because in society we see that. We see people entertaining and all. And I would like to get together. There's part of me that like to get together with my family, but a bigger part of me that doesn't, because there's so much pressure and anxiety and all that noise around me. So what works best for me is being alone, which is one of my, I mean, I love my wife and I don't want anything to happen to her. If you've watched my other videos, you know she has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I will be there to the end for her if she goes before me. But I'm okay with being by myself most of the time, going out and like I did when I lived in California where there's better transportation for me, and seeing some people. I knew some bus drivers, so I would ride their buses just to hang out with them and do a little small, well, maybe not small talk, but surface talk is what I call it. And all, and maybe go into a store. Like I would go into Subway and they knew my order. I was in there all the time and they just knew what I wanted and they were nice to me and all. And that was fine. I that's all I guess I really need in my life. I just don't want to, at my age, I don't want to battle friendships anymore and try to navigate the nuances of them because like I mentioned in the video, they're not predictable. And they change and they evolve, and I just don't get it. It frustrates me that I think I done something wrong. It's not a pretty scene. So uh, those that can make friends and develop healthy friendships, congratulations, more power to you. I envy you. But I've come to terms with the fact in my life that surface friendships are the most comfortable for me. The meet and greet kind of stuff, and the little small talk that I can do, like, hey, how are you doing? And have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Happy Memorial Day, which I always thought was an oxymoron because Memorial Day, which I learned later in life, I have to share that story some other time. It's about remembering those that have passed away, particularly those that were in the service. And happy Memorial Day, like happy grieving. I mean, that sounds like an oxymoron to me, but that's my problem. Now it is your turn. Share with me in the comments or in the conversation in our Facebook group, Autistic Adults Embracing Autism, what you thought about this video. What resonated with you? Do you struggle with friendships as an autistic adult? Or are you pretty comfortable with them? Love to hear your experiences. And if you have an idea for a topic for a future video, share them with me as well. Now, I may not be able to respond to every single comment. Actually, I cannot respond to every single comment because time constraints, but I do read each and every one of them. And I do appreciate everyone's feedback and comments on the videos that I've made so far. And I'm sure that's going to continue and even grow in the future. So until next time, this is The Confident Autistic, reminding you that it is time for you to embrace autism confidently. Join me live Thursday nights for The Confident Autistic Live, where I answer your questions, we discuss this week's videos, offer support, and more. The fun starts Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time in the US of A. Be sure to click the bell when you subscribe to the channel to be notified when the party begins.